Carol Dweck is one of the world's leading researchers in the field of motivation, and she's the Lewis and Virginia Eaton Professor of Psychology at Stanford University in America. She focuses on why people succeed and how to foster that success, which is vital for teachers and for parents alike. She's written a book called Mindset, the New Psychology of Success, which has one very simple idea with profound impacts, and that's what I'd like to share with you today.
My research shows that we produce confident learners when we praise students for the process they engage in, not when we tell them they're smart or talented. And my research shows that when we encourage a growth mindset in students, they become enthusiastic learners and responsible ones too. A growth mindset means they believe that their intelligence can be developed. And I talk about programs where we've taught this to students and shown remarkable changes in their motivation and their achievement.
The Greater Good Science Centre has a fantastic series on YouTube with Dr. Christine Carter and Kelly Corrigan talking about how to raise happy kids. These particular clips talk about Carol Dweck's idea of mindsets and how to use praise appropriately.
So there are two basic types of mindset. There's the fixed mindset, which is the belief that kids are born with whatever talents they're going to have. They have certain proclivities. They're gifted.
They're natural.
Their traits are set in stone, basically. And the growth mindset is the belief that success really comes from effort and practice and hard work.
So this is almost like nature versus nurture, right?
Yes, exactly. So the fixed mindset is the really strong belief in nature. And the growth mindset places much more emphasis on effort and hard work to get where you want to go and to be successful. But here's the problem with the fixed mindset. When you label Georgia as a smart girl or something,
which I've only told her about 1,000 times.
Yeah, I know. I say to my kids, "You're brilliant. You're a genius." You know, I mean, I think it's very natural to do this. But here's the problem: you give them that label, and it kind of puffs them up a little bit, and they like it, and then they don't want to lose it. So she's going to go out in the world, starting to evaluate situations and what she does in terms of whether or not she's going to look smart, whether or not she's going to win or lose. It's going to start to become a little bit of an insecurity for her. She's going to always be wanting
she's got to prove it.
Right. So what happens when something doesn't come naturally to them? They have to put a little effort out for it. Does that mean they're dumb? Does that mean they're not innately talented?
Right.
So then they start to look at the world in terms of situations. Am I going to look smart in that situation?
Right. It's why the kids don't take hard classes. It also just pulls all the control away, because if you think that the reason why you did well on the test is because you're so smart,
right,
and then you do poorly on a test,
right,
then what does that mean? That you're no longer smart? Right. Whereas if you're giving all the credit to effort and studying and time on task and getting extra help from the teacher,
right,
then you know how to create the outcome that you're driving for.
That's exactly right. The top thing really is effort. So Tiger Woods may have been born a good golfer. We don't really know that. What we do know is he started playing when he was 3 and he's practiced every day since. The other really great reason why is because kids who have growth mindsets are going to enjoy themselves more. They're going to like their activities. They're going to love learning more. They're going to learn to embrace challenges. Growth mindsets are a real key to having a happy childhood.
So fixed mindset is a recipe for sort of joyless achievement, whereas growth mindset
is a great recipe for a happy childhood. Just because you're focused on effort and process instead of outcome and achievement doesn't mean that they're going to be less successful. In fact, focusing on effort and practice will lead to greater success in whatever they're doing. When you change that mindset, performance also usually follows. And moreover, they are going to enjoy themselves more and lead happier lives because of it. Let me tell you about this really fascinating study that has been replicated several times. Carol Dweck.
The mindset lady.
Yes, the mindset lady has been going into schools and giving kids a simple test. And all the kids do pretty well on it. But then she divides them into groups. And some kids, she gives them one line of praise. All the kids, she's going to give one line of praise. Some kids, she praises their intellect. She says,
"You're so smart.
You did great on this test. You must be really smart." Which is very similar to the praise that Georgia is
you're
getting.
a good artist.
You're a good artist. And the other kids, she said, "You did really well on this. You must have tried really hard."
Right.
So what's really interesting about this is just how incredibly powerful that one line was. So then she went back to the kids and she said, all right, you can do the same simple test, or you can do a harder one, which you might learn from.
And all the You're So Smart kids started sweating profusely and having panic attacks.
And they took the simpler test. The majority of the You're So Smart kids.
They kept drawing the flower.
Right,
So
they kept drawing the flower. But in one study, 90% of the effort-praised kids took the harder test,
Right.
which is really a remarkable result.
Right, because it's not about the outcome for them.
Right, that's exactly right. So what we're saying here is not that you shouldn't praise your kids.
Right.
We're saying you need to praise them in a really specific way. So the effort praised kids, they reported having more fun on these tests, even when they weren't doing as well.
Right.
They wanted to take problems home to practice.
But the You're So Smart kids don't want to take it home and practice because they don't need to practice because they're so smart.
Right. Effort
And
means,
if they do have to practice, then that means maybe they're not so smart.
Right. Well, and another thing that I think is really compelling is that the effort-praised kids, they liked the harder problems better than the easier ones, which is so great because that's how you get better at something. You keep challenging yourself.
Right.
So this simple study shows how profoundly praise influenced not just how well kids did, because
But what it feels like.
Right, and what it feels like, and the fun that they were having. Who
Right.
loved learning versus whose intellectual confidence was a little bit shaken, who got a little nervous,
Right.
who started to not do as well
Right.
on a simple test.
Right, because it's your whole attitude about effort. Either effort is a threatening thing because you shouldn't have to work so hard because you're so smart.
Right.
Or effort is the experience.
Right.
Effort is the joy. The joy is learning how to do something for the first time, trying hard, being challenged.
Right. So praise is very powerful.
So it's almost like you need to have in your back pocket a big pile of questions that are growth mindset questions versus saying like, how was your game? Did you win?
Right.
It's how was your game? Did you have fun?
Did you learn something new? Did all that practice pay off?
It is so hard to stop yourself from saying, did you win?
Yeah.
Did you score? Did
Right.
you get an A?
I think the message is it doesn't matter whether or not you're good at it. Are you having fun? That's the relevant thing. Are you learning something?
You can't keep up with this changing world if you can't grow and can't learn. So that's one very important application. But the other is you can't be a mentor, a good mentor, without having a growth mindset. And so it tells you how one group is really going around the world curious to learn, and the other is going around the world wanting to feel smart. When it comes to your brain, don't lock down. Keep those neurons connecting.